When there's breaking news, Vikings now has you covered. During the offseason, it is the most important time to make sure you're subscribed, to make sure that your notifications are turned on, because I don't want you guys to miss anything. So before we get into today's coaching rumors, hit that sub button and turn on those notifications. You're watching Vikings Now. Mitchell Renz from Chat Sports, ready to get into the latest going on around the Minnesota Vikings. There was some breaking news yesterday that came in that Kevin O'Connell is going to be the next head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. Now, this is technically not official because it can't be made official until the after Super Bowl 56. But here's what Adam Schefter had to say on Twitter. Jim Harbaugh called Michigan to inform the school that despite interviewing with the Vikings today, he will be returning to the school for the 2022 season, sources tell ESPN. Michigan was, in the words of one source, elated to get Harbaugh's decision. Here's what Dan Graziano had to say on the whole situation. The Vikings have called other candidates to inform them they're out of the running, sources say. Deal with O'Connell can't be officially finalized until after the Super Bowl. Now, the reason why we broke down the Harbaugh stuff is because there were a lot of sources linking Harbaugh to the Vikings. Heck, the amount of people inside of the Michigan organization that were saying that he was a gone man, going to go to Minnesota, which is why this was a very, very surprising overall reaction. So, what's your one-word reaction? I mean, I was expecting Kevin O'Connell at the very, very beginning of all this. But then when you start seeing a lot of those rumors around Harbaugh, the fact that Harbaugh on National Signing Day, the second National Signing Day, went to Minnesota, flew in, had a 9-hour interview, and was not named head coach, the easiest reaction I had to that was absolutely surprised. Now, for the Viking fans out there, you're going to get yourself a very good head coach. I think he's a smart, young, offensive-minded dude, only 36 years old, and he has a solid relationship with new general manager Adolfo Mensa, who I cannot stress this enough. I think Mensa is going to open up a lot of different avenues, a lot of different roles for a lot of people inside NFL organizations that maybe have never been a coach, but know the analytics and know different sides of it. Again, this deal cannot be made official until after the Super Bowl because O'Connell is currently the offensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams. But my prediction, or my thought process behind all this, was my prediction was right. Now, we do a lot of videos here and whatnot at Chat Sports, and I said Kevin O'Connell is going to be the next head coach of the Minnesota Vikings about a week ago. And for that reason, I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit. Now, to make sure you guys never miss anything around the Minnesota Vikings, again, I'm going to tell you, hit that sub button. If you are one of our loyal subscribers, we got over 2,250, I believe is the number. Take that link that you see below, send it to a friend, send it to some people, be like, these were the guys that told me Kevin O'Connell was going to be the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. But again, trades, free agency, don't want you to miss anything. Hit that sub button. Now, here's what O'Connell's coaching career has looked like thus to this point. In 2015, he was the quarterbacks coach with the Cleveland Browns. 2016, literally, he worked on special projects with the 49ers. This is when he had his crossover with Mensa. So that's one of the connections there. Another guy that I know was really well connected with Mensa was Raheem Morris. But for that reason, I am excited that they went with an offensive coordinator. You got a quarterbacks coach, OC with Washington. And then for the past 2 seasons, he's been with the Los Angeles Rams. I definitely think that there's no doubt that his relationship with Mensa obviously helped him get to this position. I mean, any job that you try to get, the more networking you do, if you can at least get your foot in the door and then give your case, you're going to have a good shot. The fact that his relationship on top of that, of him being an offensive-minded guy, is very inspiring for me for the Vikings. And when you look at a lot of coaching trees, I know there's a lot of coaching trees out there that work. Some of them don't work. Thus far, if you've been a coordinator underneath Sean McVay, you've had quite a bit of success. So that was another reason why when I was doing these videos of who should the Vikings go out and hire, that's why Kevin O'Connell was the number one guy on my list. When you look at some of these other coordinators that have worked underneath Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, he's one of the best young head coaches in the league. I'm definitely curious to see what it looks like now that he lost his OC in Nathaniel Hackett. You potentially could lose Aaron Rodgers, but to this point, Matt LaFleur is a very well-regarded name. Zach Taylor, the Cincinnati Bengals are in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, that kind of alone tells you what you need to hear. Brandon Staley definitely has some ballsy calls here and there going for it on fourth down, but it's still, I like what I see out of Staley. And now you have Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. So, what I want you guys to do, this is what Chat Sports is all about. Go down to the comments section, and I want you to grade the hire A, B, C, D, or F. I know we're going to get comments of, oh, it's not officially a hire yet. You're right. And you know what? We're probably going to make a video when it's officially official. But at this current moment, Kevin O'Connell is the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, right? In quotes. A, B, C, D, or F. My grade for O'Connell is an A. He's a smart, young-minded coach. And the more and more you see the NFL transforming or going with the flow, I really truly believe that these young guys, they can come in, they can create some new offensive structures going on. I showed you all the guys that were just working underneath McVay before. They've had the solid stuff. But the fact that he's the 10th head coach in Minnesota, the fact that Zimmer's been there 8 years, and I had respect for Zimmer, but if you followed the team, Zimmer was basically done. He was an older guy. He was ready to pack it in. You're going to get O'Connell, who's young, eager to learn, eager to win, which is really important. And for the Vikings, they've been defensive-minded for so long, it's about damn time that they go with the offensive side. Now, here were the other head coach finalists. I thought Jim Harbaugh was definitely going to go to Minnesota this past week, with all the reports indicating that way. Patrick Graham, Raheem Morris. If you were to ask me 2 weeks ago who were the top two candidates, I would have said O'Connell, and I would have said Raheem Morris because of the connections there. DeMeco Ryans is a very well-respected offensive mind on top of that. But the fact that Jim Harbaugh decided to go back to Michigan, I mean, that was really, really surprising. If you're going to fly in Harbaugh, you're obviously, there was a joke I saw on social media, you're not going to bring him in to have him talk about his khakis and all that kind of good stuff. But there were reports that he was never even offered the job, that apparently Menza just wanted to hear what he had to say. And I will go ahead and say the whole situation around Harbaugh, he's going to get a lot of flack. He's going to get a lot of criticism on social media by the way that he handled this entire situation. If you're a head coach and you don't think that you're going to leave, an easy thing to do is just come out flat out and say, you know what, I'm not going to leave. But what Harbaugh did was he never really shut the door on it. There were multiple reports from very credible sources that say that he wanted to go back to the NFL. The fact that he even took the interview, the fact that he did it on National Signing Day. I really, truly believe Harbaugh handled this situation very poorly, and that's another reason why I am excited to see what Kevin O'Connell is going to be able to do with this offense. I know Kirk Cousins is a little bit shaky. He's got essentially 1 year left on his contract, and if you decide to move on from him, you can. But with Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, this offense is trending in the right direction. The defense still needs to build, but if Aaron Rodgers leaves Green Bay, Chicago is no slam dunk. Detroit is Detroit. The Minnesota Vikings and Kevin O'Connell have a legitimate shot to win the NFC North in his very first year.